everyone, welcome to Fantomu Artbox, another tutorial in Procreate on how to animate using GIF or GIF files, however you want to say it. This tutorial is going to be a lot shorter than the last one. The last one I think was about an hour and 10 minutes long, and it was about how to draw an owl in Procreate. If you haven't seen it, I will leave a link up top. Please check that out before you go through with this tutorial, as it will explain a lot of the tools and things that I am using in this tutorial. So without further ado, let's get into the program. I'm going to open the program up. And as soon as I open it up, you're going to see that there is a cute little black cat and a red ball. The black cat, I just felt like drawing Atlas today, and if you haven't seen Atlas, he's the mischievous little black panther, that cat that wanders around in my vlogs and causes mischief many a time. But he is adorable and he's very sweet, and he's only 4, and we got him last year, so he's only been here for about 1.5 years, but it feels like a lot longer, and I feel like it's like that with all of my cats. So I had another cat prior to Atlas named Phantom, and you'll notice that the sticker shop Fantomu Artbox and the YouTube channel and everything else is named after her, in dedication of her. She was a sweetheart. We rescued her at 8 years old. If she wasn't adopted, she would have been euthanized, and it was just too soon for her to be euthanized. And she took care of me when I was injured in 2016, and she was with me through everything that I have been through in my life for the past 4 or 5 years. And yeah, she was a sweetheart. And so was Atlas. Atlas is very sweet. He's just very, very young. So that's off topic again. Let me just go back to the cat and the ball. Within the program, animated GIFs are basically short animations that you see in Facebook chats. So say you're chatting with someone and you click the little emote button and then it says GIF or GIF. They have like little motion type of thing, and it's fun to use. That's exactly what we're doing. We're animating small frames. That's not to say that Procreate can't animate. You can animate in Procreate. You can do walk sequences in Procreate. You can do a bunch of things in Procreate. This is just the basics. So I'm starting out with the basics, and I'll go from there if people actually want to see these tutorials being done. But I will show you where in Procreate the animation part is. So if you go under the wrench and you go under Canvas and you click Animation Assist, a little timeline at the bottom will show up, and this is basically where you would start to animate, and it reflects your layers as well. I won't go through this today. Again, as I said, we're doing animated GIFs, which is under Share, and under Share Layers, it's animated GIF. That's what we're doing today. So I'm going to turn this off, because since we're not using it, there we go. So when I open the layers panel, there are 4 layers in total, and there are 3 different elements to this project or to this animation. One is the ball. The ball is animated. The other one is the eye, and the other one is the tail. These are the 3 elements that I chose from the drawing to animate. And when you animate something, you have to think about the motion of the thing that you're animating. That is like animation 101. So for instance, the red ball, this red ball here, I want it to go up and down. So I know the sequence is this way and also this way. So within each frame, you'll notice that the ball starts from the bottom, and as I bring the layers in for you to see, starts to work its way up. And since it's going up, if it loops, it'll go down as well. So it's sort of like up, down, up, down. And the sequence is, you know, the ball is going to go from the top to the middle to the bottom. So you know that's the sequence or the motion of that particular object. It's the same thing if you're rolling the ball from side to side. You know it's going to go from the right side to the middle to the left side. And animated GIF sort of animates it in between those areas where there's no information. If you want a smoother animation with animated GIFs, that's when you add in more elements. So say the ball is up here, and you know it's going to go from the top here. This is the top, middle, and that's the bottom, right? You might find with your animation that it's a bit choppy when you do it, in which case you'd want to add in more frames, which would be top, in between the middle and the bottom, and then the bottom. And what I mean by a bit choppy is, you'll see when let me just clear this off and undo. Okay. Okay, so when I go to the wrench and I go to share, and then I go to wrong one. I go to animated GIF, you'll see that the ball's going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? The reason it's going so fast is because of the frames per second at the top. You want to pull that back to however fast you want it to go. I want it to go maybe 5 frames per second. So it slows it down and it gives it a bit of motion up and down, up and down. Now, if I only had 3 frames with the ball at the top, ball in the middle, ball at the bottom, it might be a bit more choppy than it is now. By having 4 frames instead of the 3, or 4 layers instead of the 3, with the ball sort of moving in the 4, like how I had all 4, it makes it a bit smoother. And the same goes for the eyes. So the eyes could be open and then closed, but that might cause a bit of choppiness between the animations. So in that sense, you would do an eye open, an eye half open, and then the eye closed completely. So, and that would create a smoother animation. And the same thing with the tail. If you wanted the tail to move up and down, but you wanted it to do a bigger motion, you would have more layers within that to have more motion. So I'm going to show you what I mean, or how I did one object, not all of them. And we're going to do that now. So let me make these disappear, and let me show you how I did the eye in terms of a GIF. So I open a new layer and I create a circle. Edit shape, circle. And then I fill it. Oh, just ink that in because I'm using the wrong pen. Okay. Okay, so I'm creating a circle, and then I want the pupil to be in there too. So let's just put a circle here. And this is basically how I created the cat eye, roughly. It's not going to be completely perfect. Then I like to put a bit of reflection as well. So let's put some reflection in there. And then I like to have a little bit of reflection in the eye itself at the bottom to make it look a little bit cuter, but that's too small. Let me just... Okay. So that's one eye. And because GIF files read by layer, you don't want to have separate layers. So I always recommend, after you're finished a drawing, to merge your stuff together, but copy your whole gallery first. Copy your whole gallery, then merge it all down. That way you have a copy with the layers and you have a copy without the layers. So for this one, I already have a copy that's just each layer here. So you'll see on the side that it has like all the elements and whatnot. So I created a copy, and I can show you how to do that too. So if you do this, like if you swipe your pen tool to the left, it'll give you an option to duplicate. So once you're done all your artwork, you just duplicate it, and then it'll open a new panel. and then you just want to flatten your stuff so that you have your character on one layer. You want to do this because, again, as I said, GIF or GIF files, they read by layer. So you want to have all your elements on one. So that being said, I'm going to squeeze my fingers together and merge the two layers that I just created the eye in. So there's the eye. Now, I want the eye to blink. So I'll pull down the opacity and I will create a new layer. And I'm going to draw a closed eye with the same yellow coloring, but not with that pen. Let's go with the studio pen because that's what I was using. And you want it on the same sort of curve there as the eye. Don't like that one, so let's do this. And then I'm going to make it a bit thicker. And then I'm going to give it... Okay. So, if I make that disappear and I do that, that's the eye closed. And then there's the eye open. So I'm going to bring the opacity up on this. I'm going to have them both open, just these two layers. Go back to the wrench, go to animated GIF, and you'll see that now it's blinking, but you have to bring down the frames per second. So let's bring it down to 5. And now it's blinking on and off. If you want it to go slower, you do it that way. Now, what I was saying about a smoother animation, you see that it's very fast. It's not really working out. Like, it is working out for what I want. But what I said where you wanted to be a fluid, if you wanted it to be a fluid animation, you would take this eye, duplicate it, hide these two layers, and maybe erase part of this. You know, so... it's half, now the eye is half blinking. Or even put a curve, maybe. So now when I turn on everything, and I go back to the wrench, and I go to animated GIFs, and I slow it down to 5, it's blinking, but it has a secondary step in between. So this is what I mean when you're animating. You have to think of the motion of what you're animating. So the eye blinking would be open, close, but you would, you know, if you want a smoother animation, you do it half open. Or the ball goes up and down, and you know that it goes top, middle, bottom. So say like, you know, you want to do a thumbs up. Well, your first frame would be the fist. And then if you think about how a thumbs up happens, your thumb would slightly move upward and be slightly bent. So that would be your second frame. And then your third frame would be your thumb completely up. And with animation, that's how you want to see things. It's how you want to sort of break down the motion of things. And this goes with everything, like even with walking. Walking is a bit more complicated, and a lot of people just rig their character, but you still have to understand how walking happens. So the motion of your foot being bent, how your ankle is, the knee, and how that joint moves. You sort of have to study those things, and that's how you would end up animating it. And, you know, and then the camera angles come in and some other stuff, but it gets really, really complicated, and this is just the animated for simple GIF files. And you know, if you guys are interested in seeing animated images within Procreate, I'd be happy to learn or teach it. You can leave a comment in the section down below regarding that and let me know your thoughts on that. I am not an animator, as I said. I am a graphic designer / illustrator. I use Procreate simply as a sketchbook. But I figured, you know, there are a lot of things that I know in terms of sewing, Procreate, graphic design, etc., and anything that I can share with you guys, I will. So if you have any sort of opinion or questions or anything at all, or want to see a specific tutorial done, please leave me a comment in the comments section. And that's it for this tutorial, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that it was helpful in some way, and that now you have created your own animated GIF. One thing I will say about animated GIFs is that if you are hoping to make the GIF longer, you can always extend the frame, like the layers. You can duplicate the layers. Remember that, like for this one, because the eyes are closed in some layers and not in others, I made it so that both these two layers, the eyes are closed. Therefore, it's a bit like the sequence of the eyes being closed is longer than it should be. It wouldn't be blink, 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 blink. It would be blink, long period of hold, and then open. So you can do that as well, but you have to make sure that your layers are duplicated. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next tutorial.